So as soon as the war started, I got orders to report to the 14th Naval District intelligence officer in Honolulu, and arrived out there the 1st of February, 1942. The ships in Pearl Harbor were still smoking, most of them sitting on the bottom, and it was a pretty dreadful sight. The next day we reported to Commander Joe Rochefort. Rochefort was running the cryptographic effort, and Leighton was the Fleet Intelligence Officer for Admiral Kimmel, later for Admiral Nimitz. And we had absolutely no intelligence sources about Japanese and Japanese naval operations except our cryptographic effort.
HIPO was one of 3 Pacific Theater radio intercept stations tuned to Japanese radio communications at the beginning of the war. Immediately after Pearl Harbor, Station HIPO was redirected to work on breaking the Japanese Naval Code, JN-25.
In February 1942, we really were not reading message texts to any substantial degree at all. We had only recovered probably less than 10% of the code groups in JN-25. By March, April, we were reading probably 25% of the traffic, not solid, but enough to make sense out of it. We were able to see the Japanese build up toward that resulted in the Battle of Coral Sea, which was the first two-sided naval battle in World War II in the Pacific. The information was sketchy, but it was enough to mount an operation. Even while the Battle of Coral Sea was going on, we were greatly increasing our readability of the code, JN-25, and we began to see the evidence of buildup of another major operation, and the target was AF. Nobody knew what AF was. So Holmes came up with this idea of trying to trick the Japanese into admitting that AF was showing us and AF was Midway by the water, what we call the water message.
On May 31st, the Intelligence Division of SINCPAC sent a message to all task force commanders, alerting them to the specific composition of the Japanese forces arrayed against Midway. This was based largely upon communications intelligence generated by HIPO Station. A lone PBY patrol plane spotted the Japanese strike force at 5:45 a.m., just where intelligence had predicted it would be, and reported back. Immediately, all fighting aircraft were removed from Midway to defend the island against air attack and to bomb the Japanese strike force.
The Japanese planes on the 4 carriers were on the deck being refueled and rearmed when our carrier aircraft encountered their force. We ended up in the first 20 minutes of our attack against the Japanese forces sinking 3 of the 4 carriers, or we reset them on fire and they sunk within a few hours.